laying on your back, allow the heaviness of your bones to settle, ground you down, connect you to the earth, and then extend your heels away from the crown of your head. If that feels comfortable on your lower back. If that causes any discomfort, you can always keep the knees bent, feet a little bit wide, and let the knees come together. So that low back can soften and the legs are supported. Bring your awareness to your breath. And notice the quality of the breath today before your practice. Notice if your chest feels tight or open. If the breath is short or long. If the inhales or the exhales bear more weight. And then take a moment to intentionally deepen your breath. Bring the awareness to the diaphragm, that muscle right below the ribs that facilitates your breath. And as you inhale, feel it expand downward. As you exhale, the whole body softens back and spreads wide. Next inhale, breathe your awareness past your diaphragm, down into the bottoms of your feet and the tips of your toes. And as you exhale, sink into the support of the ground beneath you. And allow yourself to be held. Have a few more breaths here. Down into the bottoms of the feet and the tips of the toes. And back into the support of the ground beneath you. Feel that stacking of the bones and joints in the back body plane. The back body is considered the universal body, where we all have this blueprint for optimal alignment, skeletal system supporting us so that our organs and our muscles don't have to work so hard. And then we'll do a quick scan through the physical body from the bottoms of the feet and the tips of the toes. As you inhale deeply, draw your awareness up through your legs, into your pelvis, your hips, your low back. Notice any areas of tension, soreness, general discomfort. And as you inhale deeply, breathe into those places. Gently open and expand them with your in-breath. As you exhale completely, allow some of that tension to leave your body with your breath. Next inhale pulls the awareness up the torso, into your shoulders, your neck, and your face. Once again, just observing where in your upper body you're holding tension today. And use the breath to bring your awareness there. Inhale, create space. Invite fresh blood and oxygen to flow through those areas. And as you exhale completely, soften more deeply. Continue the conversation of consciously asking your body to relax, release, and let go. Lastly, check in with your mind. Notice where your thoughts are at. Notice the speed at which they move through you. Take a big step back from identifying as your thoughts and begin to just witness their passing without getting attached or carried away, without judging yourself for what you're thinking about, but just beginning to notice the habits and patterns in the way your mind turns. And then bring the awareness back and anchor it fully on your breath. For a few more of those deep, long breaths. Down into the bottoms of your feet and the tips of your toes. And back into that universal blueprint for optimal alignment and energetic flow. So as we've said, the whole back body is considered the universal body. And the front body then is considered the individual body. The core, where we'll be working today, the site of the third chakra, our seat of personal power, where the will and the ego reside, is then like the ego center of the ego body. And its action is to draw back, to rein in and up, symbolizing that we will rein our egos in to work for our higher selves, which always includes the collective well-being of all beings. So we're going to do some more of that ab work on the floor. You can ground your palms. I'm going to give you some options. You can do palms by your hips or hands overhead, palms facing up. But we're going to bring our legs perpendicular to the floor at a 90-degree angle to the body. If this is a difficult position for you because the hips are tight, you can always place your hips up on a blanket or a block to make it more accessible. Good. And we are pulling the abdomen in towards the spine, cinching the low ribs and the hip bones towards each other to engage the abdominal muscles. And as you exhale, slowly lower your legs towards the floor. Hovering before they hit the floor, and then inhale, lift the legs back up. And that's one option. If you want to make your life more difficult, you can then take your legs up and overhead to touch down on the floor behind you. And you might need to push at the sides or get a little momentum if this is your first time doing this activity. And then as you draw the abdomen into the spine, slowly roll the legs back out. Reconnect and commit to pulling the abdomen back, rooting the thigh bones away from you still as you lower your legs to the floor. And inhale back up. You're going to do 5 total at your own pace, whether you're rolling all the way back or just taking the legs up and down. All that matters is that you feel your muscles working right now. And that you're observing the tendencies in your body. So you might notice that the abdominal muscles pop up in the center of the abdomen. If that's happening for you, as you exhale, soften them back and spread them wide. If you are lifting your legs all the way up overhead, you might notice that the thigh bones have a tendency to collapse towards the hip bones. Don't let that happen. Press your thigh bones away from your hips, even as you're lifting up and overhead. Oh God. Once you've done 5 total of whatever version you're working on, you can draw your knees into your chest and rock gently from side to side a little bit. Ooh, we've been doing the core class for 3 days and I feel very strong. Good. So that action of drawing the abdomen in and up, of cinching the low ribs and the hip bones together, is the first action in most shapes. And then we can add different things like twists. So take your arms wide, palms facing up, draw your knees into your chest, and with an exhale, take your knees up and over to the right elbow, turning the abdomen back to the left. Don't let your legs collapse to the floor. Hover, lift the knee to the elbow, and inhale back to center. Exhale, take your knees up and over towards your left elbow. Rotating the abdomen back to the right to keep that right shoulder grounded. Lift the last little bit of the way to get the knees to touch the elbow. Feel the burn and do that 4 more times in each direction on your own. Using the bottom leg to lift the top leg up. If for some reason, again, you want to make your life more difficult, you think that it's easy, extend up through the heels and take the ankles up and over to the wrist. Continuing to turn your abdomen back in the opposite direction. Trying to keep as much balance and evenness in the grounding of the back body as you can, despite the asymmetry of the shapes. If you experience low back pain here, back off. Work just to the edge of the shape before you experience any pain, and begin to build your strength in proper alignment so that eventually you can move through that area without pain. When you're finished, you can draw your knees into your chest. Rock gently from side to side, massage your low back. When you're ready, roll to the right side. Press down to lift up. Come to a comfortable seated position. Close your eyes. Build your shape from the foundation. Maybe it feels good to inner rotate the thighs and move the flesh of the buttocks out. Remembering that if your pelvis tilts back, you can always sit up on a blanket to get that grounded, neutral position of the pelvis. From this pressing down through both sits bones, we get the leverage to lift the frontal hip bones away from the thigh bones, to lift through the crown of the head and the tips of the ears. Roll the shoulders together down and into the back body to fully broaden the chest, and then soften those low ribs down and back. So looking for that same stacking of the bones and joints in the back body plane. That brings a lightness into your being in all shapes. So we are working the core this week, and I would say those are the most physically demanding classes of the whole chakra alignment series. They're also the most rewarding. The place where you can most quickly see and feel your hard work pay off. And today is a full moon in Scorpio. And though the moon and Scorpio are kind of opposite energies, the moon is associated with our emotional life, our home life. It seeks comfort and stability. And Scorpio is associated with passion, intensity, adventure, sexuality. So the energy of the moon in Scorpio is an energy that asks us to dig deep into this area of our emotional life, so that we can work through some shit and get to the place where we're ready to come out, share our passions, be excited. This is very similar. Well, the work that you've done already in this area will, you'll be able to experience the benefits of it in the next few days. If you have been a person that kind of hides from your shadow or hasn't really gotten to do that work yet, a lot is going to come up. But if you have been a person that has been diligently shifting your gaze inward, observing your habits and patterns, putting in the get your hands dirty, nitty gritty, hard work to unearth and work through and understand your own emotional habits and patterns, then you will have easy breezy, fun, exciting, intense next few days. So we will just think about what it means to work on ourselves, to work for our dreams as we practice today, knowing that no work that we ever do, whether it's on the mat in our yoga practice or in any area of our life, is ever lost. All of our efforts are cumulative efforts towards growth and evolution, both for our individual selves and our individual lives, but also collectively, the work that we do on our mat and the ways that we take the work that we do off our mat and into the world has ripple effects out into our communities, our relationships, but also the collective consciousness. And it's important that we remember that although, you know, being in alignment, both physically, energetically, intellectually is important, getting in and doing the hard work, showing up every day for yourself, for those you love, for your dreams, is what's really gonna move them from this fantasy envisioning place into reality in your body. People love to call me only when I teach yoga. Okay. With an inhale, you can reach your arms up and overhead. And exhale through the mouth with sound, release. Good, one more time like that. Begin to clear your body out. Inhale deeply. And exhale completely. Inhale to prepare for the sound of Om 3 times together. Good, pause and allow those vibrations to resonate through the body, becoming aware of where things are stuck and constricted, being willing to take your awareness there and do the work of figuring out why. and what adjustments we can make to create more space, to allow the energy, the emotions, all of these things to flow through us with more ease. We'll do a pranayama. So you can cross your right shin in front of your left shin and close to your knees if they aren't already. The feet poking out in the center of the calves, turning up. Interlace your hands and bring them onto the top of the head, palms facing up. We'll do Kapalabhati, skull shining breath. So it's a series of short, sharp exhales through the nose, made by this action of pumping the abdomen in and up. So an exaggerated action of what our abdomen does at the core often, like this. So we'll inhale deeply, exhale completely, inhale to prepare, and return to your normal breath. And just pause for a moment to feel the effects of the pranayama on the energy in your body. And with an inhale, stretch your palms up towards the ceiling. Feel as you reach up through the palms, drop your chin to your chest. Feel how that gives you leverage to draw the abdomen up and back. Low ribs and hip bones cinch towards each other as you reach through the palms to stretch the back ribs, each one off the one below it. Keep all of that length and space and effort as you inhale and gaze up. Pull your pinky fingers and thumbs down towards your face. Feel your shoulders soften down away from your ears. Neutralize your head and gaze for 3 more deep, long breaths. Each inhale draws in and up from the floor to the core. And each exhale, you find the softness, skin around the bones, pinkies and thumbs towards the ground, shoulders and hips towards the ground. With an exhale, release and twist to the right. Ground your right fingertips behind you. Left hand and right knee press into each other. This lifting of the right knee activates the foundation of the pose. Both sits bones ground down evenly. From the base of the spine, lift and lengthen through the crown of the head and the tips of the ears. As you exhale, deepen your twist. Roll the shoulders together down and into the back body, remembering to balance the action with tucking the low ribs down and back. Have 3 more deep, long breaths. Good, and return to center. Switch out the crossing of your legs, in close to the knees, so that the feet poke out in the center of the calves and move towards turning to face up. Hardness of the shin is crushing and massaging and breaking up the fascia, the bottom calf. Switch out the crossing of your fingers. And once again, interlace the hands and bring them to the top of the head. That weight of the hands gives you an awareness to lift up into. The armpits soften back and down. 1 more round of Kapalabhati. And this breath can sometimes stimulate like a panic attack or anxiety, right? So if you're prone to those things and you're just starting to practice, maybe you don't want to do this breath work. But I think it provides us with a really amazing opportunity to experience the breath associated with a panic attack in a safe space and learn to keep the mind calm despite it. So we'll inhale deeply, Exhale completely. Inhale to prepare. Return to your normal breath. Feeling that fire at the abdomen that begins to move the energy up through to the crown of the head. With an inhale, again, stretch your palms up. Drop your chin to your chest. And cinch your low ribs and hip bones together as you lift through the palms to stretch the intercostal muscles between each rib on the back body. Keep that as you inhale and gaze up. Pull your pinky fingers and your thumbs down towards your face and feel the shoulders come away from the ears. Neutralize your head and gaze for 3 more deep, long breaths. Each inhale draws the abdomen in and up from the floor. The energy moves to the core, to the crown. Elbows hug in. Each exhale, skin softens down around the bones. Shoulders and hips settle towards the floor. With your next exhale, release and twist to the left. Ground the left fingertips behind you. Right hand and left knee answer each other in call and response. Both sits bones ground evenly, and from the base of the spine, inhale, lift and lengthen through the crown of the head and the tips of the ears. As you exhale, deepen your twist. Pressing out through your palms gives you the leverage to roll the shoulders together down and into the back body. Balancing that action with softening the low ribs. 3 more deep, long breaths. And return to center. Take your legs wide. Flex your toes, point them straight up. Press your thigh bones down. Feel the quadriceps engage, maybe so much that the heels lift up. And then by softening through the calves and extending through the heels, get the whole midline of the back of your leg on the floor. And notice if you have a tendency to let your feet roll out and your pelvis tip back, or if you have a tendency to let your pelvis dip forward and your feet roll inward. You want to find the center and inhale, lift the arms up. Give yourself a twist so that you're facing over that right leg, and exhale, fold, reaching out towards your foot. Making sure that you are keeping that outer left hip grounded, heaviness in the thigh bone and the shin. As you draw the abdomen back, turn more deeply and fold more deeply. 5 breaths. Good. Inhale, back up. Stretch up. Flex your toes up. Find your center. Give yourself that twist, keeping the outer right hip grounded as your anchor, and then fold the chest forward. Return to the foundation. Press the whole midline of both legs down, especially heaviness through the right thigh bone and calf. Then lift your frontal hip bone away from your thigh bone and turn to the left. 5 breaths. Inhale, reach up. We're gonna bring the left foot into the groin and do a very similar thing. Both sits bones ground down. Inhale, reach the arms up. Turn to the right. And maybe now you can grab the right shin or foot with the left hand. Continue rooting that left hip back and down as you lift the frontal hip bone away from the thigh bone. Turn more deeply to the right, using this back hand as a lever to ground down and roll your shoulder back. And then fold more deeply. Deep twist. Deep wringing out. The full moon is also a time to set intentions about what you would like to let go of. And our twists help to facilitate that release. Inhale back to center. Switch sides. Press that outer right hip down. We'll put both sits bones down to start. Inhale, reach up. Left toes flexed and active. Whole midline of your left leg grounded. Turn the abdomen to the left. Ground those left fingertips outside your left hip and reach your right hand towards your left shin or thigh or foot. Rooting that outer right hip down, it acts as your anchor. Lift the frontal hip bone away from the front thigh bone and turn your abdomen to the left more. Roll the shoulders back and fold more deeply. 5 breaths. Thinking about what comes up for you when you are left to your own devices, in isolation, alone for a long period of time. That is exactly what you need to face and where your work lies. Good. Inhale back up to center. And we'll come on to hands and knees. Spread your fingers wide, ground your knees under your hips. A gentle engagement of the abdomen towards the spine, even as you arch the back, tilt the tailbone up, gaze up. Exhale, curl your spine to the ceiling. Continue at your own pace. Sync the motions of the body with your breath. Use your breath to deepen the motions of your body and allow that synchronicity to bring you fully and completely into the present moment, the place from which we take action, make changes, do our work. When you are ready, you can tuck your toes, lift your hips high, and press back, downward facing dog. Feel free to pedal your feet or sway your hips. Move in any way that feels good to you in this moment. And then find some stillness. Hands and feet evenly grounded, as wide as the hips and shoulders. Outer edge of your feet turn so that they're parallel with the outer edge of your mat. Take a slight bend in your knees, right over your ankles, and use that as leverage. As you inhale, lift and spread the fingers and toes, lift the abdomen towards your spine, and lift your hips high. As you exhale, press your thigh bones up and back to where the wall meets the ceiling. And then take your low ribs up and back towards your thigh bones. Have 3 more deep, long breaths. With an inhale, float forward into plank pose. Always an option to lower the knees down behind the hips as you work the alignment in plank. There's a lift from the underside of the pose. The abdomen lifts towards the spine and the back of the ribs lift to meet the shoulder blades. The hip bones and low ribs cinch towards each other as you extend through the heels and the crown of the head. One more big inhale. And exhale, lower knees, chest, chin. Pause here with your booty lifted, and then root your tailbone down towards your heels. Feel the engagement of the lower abdomen and maintain that as you inhale forward into Cobra pose. Everything on the ground is your foundation, pressing firmly down to lift and lengthen through the heart and crown. The tailbone, the energy from the pelvis extends through the heels, and the low abdomen is still lifted towards the spine. One more big breath here. And exhale, seat to heels. Come into child's pose. Allow the weight of your hips to settle energetically towards your heels. And from that grounding in the lower body, inhale and breathe, lengthen space into each vertebrae in the spine. Exhale. See what you can soften, release, and let go of. This is one of the shapes where we can just allow the abdomen to completely relax. Have 3 more deep, long breaths. And inhale, rise, hands and knees. Lift your right arm up. So we have to widen the left inner thigh gently to the left to stabilize the pelvis as the abdomen lifts and we lift the right arm up. The abdomen draws back so the bones and joints of the spine stack and we're not like arching our back and twisting. Press out through your palms to roll your shoulders together down and into your back body. And exhale, tuck that right arm under the left. Gaze out under the left armpit for a twist. Now we're widening our right hip gently to the right to stabilize the pelvis. The abdomen is still drawn back. Press into the left fingertips to roll the shoulders back. Have 3 more deep, long breaths. If there's ever discomfort in your lower back when you're twisting, that means you probably need to lift your frontal hip bones away from your thigh bones more, so the pelvis isn't dropping forward and crunching the low back. Have 1 more breath. And then return to center. We're widening that right hip gently to the right. So it's like not even really, you don't even really see the action, but it holds the pelvis stable as you lift your abdomen towards your spine and lift your left arm high. Press out through your palms to roll your shoulders together down and hug the center of the shoulder blades into the spine. Tuck that left arm under the right. Scoot your right fingertips out. Gaze up under the right armpit for that twist. Now remembering to widen the left hip gently to the left. And lift the frontal hip bones away from the thigh bones as you lean back. 3 breaths. Feels so good. Inhale back to center. Tuck your toes, lift your hips high. Press back, downward facing dog. Always building your shapes from the ground up. Hands evenly grounded, feet evenly grounded. Outer edge of your feet parallel with outer edge of the mat. Slight bend in your knees, right over your ankles, which really gives you leverage to lift from the back of the knees up. As you inhale, lift your abdomen towards your spine, lift your hips high. And as you exhale, press your thigh bones away from your hip bones. Make space in the lower back. Allow your head to hang heavy. And then take your low ribs up and back to your thigh bones for 3 more deep, long breaths. With the abdomen drawn back and the vertebrae stacked, see where you can soften a little bit. Inhale and begin to walk your feet forward to meet your hands. Come into a standing forward bend at the front of your mat. Let your head hang heavy. You can work with the legs straight or the legs bent, but let the abdomen relax. Let the head be heavy. Shake it out, yes and no. Grab opposite elbows and sway. Move in any way that feels good to you to release tension from the back, the shoulders, and the neck. Let it drain out through the crown of the head. Letting go of all you think you know and making space for new ideas to come through. Inhale back to center and exhale through the mouth with sound release. With your next inhale, begin to roll your spine up. Pelvis spins around your femur bones. Vertebrae stack. Shoulders and head are the last things to rise. Good. So just taking a moment to really hone in on alignment. Tadasana, mountain pose, is the template for all the other shapes. Feet as wide as my hips, and outer edge of the feet turned parallel with the outer edge of your mat. As you inhale, lift and spread your toes. This action of lifting and spreading the toes and then pressing firmly through the big toe mound lifts the arch of your foot, right? And the arch of the foot initiates the lift of the abdomen from the pelvic floor. So we lift and spread your toes, stretch them out, ground them down, but keep the arch of the foot lifted. Take your thigh bones back, sticking your booty out a little bit, so the center of the hips come over the knees and ankles. And with the thigh bones back like that, draw the center of the buttocks into the midline. Feel how that lifts the pelvic triangle in and up, initiating the drawing in and up of the abdomen, the reining in of the ego. The low ribs cinch down. Roll your palms to face forward to roll your shoulders back. Slide your jawbone back to stack the neck over the spine. And with an inhale, reach your arms up and overhead. Exhale, fold forward over your legs. Inhale, gaze forward, lengthen your spine. And exhale, fold more deeply. We'll do that a few more times. As you inhale, gaze forward, lengthen. There's a lift from the back of the knees to the sits bones. And there's a lift of the frontal hip bones away from the thigh bones. As you exhale and fold more deeply, pressing down from the back of the knees through the heels, the frontal hip bones still lift away from the thigh bones. 3 more times at your own pace. It's exploring the action of folding forward with the abdomen drawing back. Feeling how that creates more space on the inside of your body as you fold. With an inhale, gaze forward, lengthen. Exhale, step your left leg back. Lower your left knee down. And you can keep your hands grounded for support. Bring them onto the front thigh or lift them up overhead. But the actions to align and engage the lower body so that we can lift the torso are the same. Energetically scissor the legs towards each other. And feel how that engages the inner thigh and groin muscles, and it lifts the low abdomen, it lifts you up out of the pose so you're not sinking. With that lift, tailbone roots down, pelvic triangle, frontal hip bones lift. Take the center of the buttocks forward to open up through the back hip flexor. Wherever your hands are, they could be on the floor, your thigh, or lifted. Inhale from the grounding and rooting of the lower body. Lift the abdomen in and up. Lengthen through the fingertips and the crown of the head. Have 3 breaths. And release. Tuck your back toes under. Inhale, step your back foot forward. Lengthen. Exhale, fold deeply into your legs. Inhale, gaze forward, get length. Exhale, right leg back. Lower your right knee down. Choose your adventure. Maybe the hands stay on the floor. Maybe they come onto the front thigh. Maybe they lift all the way up. But as you inhale next, hug your left leg back and your right leg forward. Feel it engage the inner groins and lift from the pelvic floor. Lift you up out of the pose. Maintain that compaction at the center as you root your tailbone down. Pelvic triangle draws in and up. Take the whole center of the buttocks forward. And inhale, lift through the abdomen, the crown of the head, the fingertips. 3 breaths. And exhale, release. Good. Tuck your back toes and inhale, step your back foot forward. Get length through your spine. And exhale, fold. Inhale, reach your arms up and overhead, come to stand. Exhale, release your arms down by your sides. Tadasana. Good. Checking back in with the alignment. Feet face forward. Lift and spread the toes to activate the arch. Stretch them out and ground them down. Thigh bones back. Tailbone rooting down so the frontal hip bones can initiate the action of drawing the abdomen in and up. Turn your palms to face forward to roll your shoulders back. Usually we're all here, so we roll our shoulders back and our head is still here. Lift your chin parallel to the earth. Inhale, reach your arms up. Doing a twist. We do this all the time and it's still so hard, right? So we're gonna widen the left inner thigh to the left to stabilize the pelvis. The tailbone is still rooting down, frontal hip bones lifting, bones and joints stack as you turn the torso to the right. Checking back in, thigh bones back, center of the buttocks into the midline. Lift your abdomen, lift through the crown of the head and fingertips for 1 more breath. And inhale to center. We are now widening the right inner thigh to the right to stabilize the pelvis. We want to keep the bones and joints stacked in the back body plane as we now turn the torso to the left. Keep pressing from your tailbone through your heels. Keep lifting the pelvic triangle towards the spine. Lift through the fingertips, the crown of the head. Deepen your twist for 1 more breath. And inhale back to center. Exhale, fold forward over your legs. Inhale, gaze forward. Lengthen your spine. Exhale, step the left leg back. Lunge on the right side. Always an option to lower the back knee down, but the front knee is stacked over the front ankle. And it's also an option this time to keep your back knee lifted. Either way, the actions are the same. Inhale and scissor your legs towards each other. Feel that lift from the pelvic floor. Lift the abdomen towards the spine. Lift the frontal hip bones. Maybe you stay here. Maybe you want to stretch your arms long, creating one long line of energy through your body. Your hip bone is almost on your thigh, and then you pull it back. Exhale, release your left hand down, or inhale, lift your right arm up for a twist. So first we get that length and space through the spine. The back thigh bone lifts and widens to the left, lifting the frontal hip bones and turn to the right. Press through your palms to roll your shoulders back. One more deep, long breath. Good work. Inhale, step your back foot forward, get length. Exhale, fold deeply. Inhale, gaze forward, lengthen again. Exhale, right leg back this time. Always an option to lower your back knee down, but keep the front knee stacked over the front ankle, no matter what. As you inhale, scissoring your legs towards each other, feeling that lift from the pelvic floor. Lift the frontal hip bone away from the thigh bone, and maybe stay here. Maybe stretch your body into one long line of energy. Lift the frontal hip bone and twist. Lowering the right arm down or lifting the left arm up. Lift the right thigh bone and widen it to the right. Lift your frontal hip bones. Turn your abdomen to the left as you press out through the palms. Roll the shoulders into the back body. Have one more breath. And exhale, release. Inhale, step your back foot forward. Exhale, fold deeply. Inhale, reach your arms up and overhead. Come to stand. Exhale, release your arms down by your sides. Tadasana. Good, we're gonna take our hands on our hips and step the left leg back. The left foot turns out slightly so that the heel can ground, but the actions are the same. As you inhale, pull your legs energetically towards each other. Feel how it draws the right hip back. It inner rotates the left thigh and brings the left hip forward. Lift and spread your toes. Stretch them out, ground them down. Root your tailbone down. Inhale, lift your frontal hip bones. And then exhale, begin to fold forward, hinging at your hips. With your hands on your hips, you can feel that you're maintaining the balance and evenness there. Thigh bones press back to lengthen the lower back, and the abdomen lifts. Have 3 more deep, long breaths. Good. With an inhale, lift your gaze. Exhale, a slight bend in your front knee. You have options here. You can keep your hands lifted and fly into warrior 3, or you can lower your fingertips to the floor for standing split if you'd like. Either way, press through both heels. Root both thigh bones back in their respective directions and lift the frontal hip bones away from the thigh bones. 3 breaths. Exhale, release. Standing forward, bend. Shake out your head and your hips. Inhale, reach your arms up and overhead. Exhale, release your arms down by your sides. Hands on your hips. Right leg steps back. The right foot is turned out slightly so the right heel can ground. As you inhale, pulling the left leg back and drawing the right leg forward. Taking the left hip back, inner rotating the right thigh, so the right hip comes forward. Lift and spread your toes, stretch them out, ground them down, root your tailbone down and lift your frontal hip bones. With an exhale, fold forward. hinging at your hips, which means pressing the thigh bones back so the low back lengthens, and lifting the frontal hip bones away from the thigh bones as you fold. 3 more breaths. Inhale, lift your gaze. Exhale, a deep bend in the front knee. Inhale, fly forward, your choice. Warrior 3, keeping the hands on the hips, or grounding your fingertips. Either way, press through both heels. Lift from the inner thigh in the center of the back heel. Standing thigh bone back, frontal hip bones lifted. 3 deep, long breaths. And exhale, release. Forward fold. Shake out your head. Shake out your hips. Inhale, arms reach up, come to stand. Exhale, release your arms down by your sides. Tadasana. And I'm just gonna redo it on Instagram. And we'll just finish up with a few more standing poses and wind it all down. Here we go. Nope, that was not it. Here we go. Take your feet wide. Okay. Arms parallel to the earth, outer edge of your feet parallel with outer edge of the mat. We're gonna turn the left foot in slightly and turn your right foot out all the way. Back thigh bone back in line with the knee and ankle of your back leg. Lift and spread your toes, stretch them out, ground them down. With an exhale, widen the back hip back, cut the front thigh bone back. Keep your abdomen back as you stretch your side bodies long. So we're coming down in alignment. We're not coming out of it to come down. Thigh bone back, buttock into the midline, frontal hip bone lifted. Come into your triangle pose. You can rest your hand on your shin if you need to, but don't collapse your joint. Press your shin back into your hands. Scan your body from the ground up. Notice any areas that are compressed. Make sure that back thigh bone is back. And the front thigh bone cuts back towards the back thigh bone. The front buttock into the midline to lift the back hip up and back. Abdomen drawn towards the spine and turning back to the left. 3 breaths. Good, with that third exhale, left hand onto your left hip. Slight bend in the front knee. Hop your back foot in. Scoot your fingertips out in front of you. Press down through the right big toe mound and out through both heels as you rise to half moon pose. Ardha Chandrasana. Maybe you want to lift the left arm up. All the alignment stays the same. Standing thigh bone back. Lifted thigh bone back in line with the knee and ankle of the back leg. Front buttock into the midline of the body. Abdomen back and turning to the left. 3 more deep, long breaths. And with an exhale, bend your knee. Release the foot to the floor, pass through warrior 2. Straight front leg. Turn the feet. Both outer sides of the feet parallel with outer side of the mat. I'm gonna scoot back a little bit to this direction. Right foot turns in slightly, left foot turns out all the way. Standing thigh bone is back, in line with the knee and ankle of the back leg. Feel how that takes your groin back, softening your groin and opening up through the back, the lower back on that right side. Lift and spread your toes, stretch them out, ground them down. As you exhale, widening from the right thigh out, as you cut the left thigh bone back towards the right. We're gonna keep our alignment as we shift into the shape. So the abdomen stays drawn back to the side, and we stretch the side bodies long. Front thigh bone back, buttock into the midline, frontal hip bone lifted as we come down into our triangle pose. Remembering that if you're supporting yourself on your shin, you have to push back into your hand with your shin. Top arm is lifted up. Reconnect and stand the body from the ground up. Press through the big toe mound to lift the arch. Take this back thigh bone back and lift your hip up. Front thigh bone back and buttock into the midline. Lift your frontal hip bones, draw your abdomen back and turn back to the right. 3 more deep, long breaths. Exhale that right hand to the right hip. Slight bend in the front knee. Hop your back foot in, scoot your fingertips out. Left big toe is your anchor. Press through both heels as you stack the hips and shoulders. All of the alignment remains the same. Standing thigh bone back, front buttock, standing buttock into the midline of the body. Hip, knee, and ankle stacked on the back leg. Lift your frontal hip bone and turn your abdomen back to the right. 3 breaths. Exhale, bend the standing knee, land with your legs wide. Warrior 2, straight front leg. Turn the outer edge of both feet parallel, the outer edge of your mat. And exhale, fold deeply. Wide-legged, standing forward, fold. Ground your hands under your shoulders. Lift and spread your toes. Stretch them out. Ground them down. Slight bend in the knees, and from the back of your knees, lift up. From the back of your knees, press down. Inhale, lift your abdomen towards your spine and lift your frontal hip bones. So we do not, if the tailbone is like rooted back, we have to lift from the back of the legs up. But we also don't want to collapse our pelvis forward. We have to lift the frontal hip bones. Inhale, lift the abdomen, get length. Round your left hand under your face. Bring your right hand onto your sacrum. Widen that left hip to the left to stabilize the pelvis. Lift the abdomen and lift the right arm up for a twist. Press out through your palms to roll the shoulders together down and into the back body. 3 breaths. And exhale, release. Standing forward, fold. Let your head hang heavy for a breath. Notice all the tendencies your body collapses into immediately. And renew your efforts. Inhale, lift and spread your toes. Stretch them out, ground them down. Slight bend in your knees. From the back of your knees, lift up towards the sits bones. From the back of the knees, press down. Grounding the hands under the shoulders. Inhale, lift your abdomen and lift your frontal hip bones. Right hand grounds under the face, left hand comes onto the sacrum. Widen your right hip to the right to stabilize your pelvis. The sacrum should be neutral, balanced and parallel to the floor. Inhale, lift your left arm up for a twist. Press out through your palms to roll your shoulders together down and into your back body for 3 breaths. Exhale, release. Standing forward, fold. Bring your hands to your hips. Inhale, ground down to lift up. Good. Step or jump your feet together. Come back to the top of your mat. We are going to play with a crow pose practice, because all of our arm balances are a fun way to build core strength. And if you've never done crow before, no worries, because I'll walk you through it. And if you don't get off the ground today, it's all good. It just is, if you feel the muscles in your body working, you're getting stronger. You're building awareness. You're introducing new possibilities to the mind and body. So you're gonna take your hands as wide as your shoulders, spread your fingers, ground them all down. There's a slight bend in the elbows, and maybe the most important part is that you look forward so that the elbows can come over the wrists. We can't balance from back here, and if we look down, we collapse. So we're looking out to that triangular point between the hands. Start with your hips high, slight bend in the elbows, bring the knees onto the upper arms. Shift your weight forward, out of the feet and into the hands. Maybe you lift one leg. Maybe by hugging the legs into the arms and lifting the abdomen, you can lift the feet off the floor. Wherever you're working, have 3 to 5 deep, long breaths. And then we will make our way. Well, let's pause in this squat shape, remembering that the most important part is that we are beginning to get our heels grounded. So it's fine to support yourself on your hands while you allow the weight of the pelvis to settle towards the heels. Also, always an option to roll your mat up or bring a blanket under your heels. But your knees need to bend in the same direction as your ankles. Hands at the heart, if that's accessible. 5 breaths here. Buddha, stop eating baby's food. Sir, go. It wouldn't be a complete class if I didn't yell at one of my children or pets. Good, once you've had a few breaths in this goddess pose, ground your palms, step back. You can come to down dog or child's pose. Wherever you find yourself, return your awareness to your breath. And check back in. Notice the quality of your breath, the tension in your body, and the speed of your thoughts through your mind in this moment. And then we will come all the way forward onto the abdomen. Hug your legs towards each other energetically. You can interlace your hands behind your back or just palms facing up at the sides of your body. With an inhale, lift everything you can lift up off the ground. Pinkies, side of the hand lifting here. 5 breaths. And with that 5th exhale, release. Turn your head to one side. Gently sway out the hips. So at every level of our being, we seek to balance opposing forces. At this level of the 3rd chakra, we balance effort and ease. You can take that same shape again, or you can bend your knees and grab your ankles. Don't let your knees splay out any wider than your hips. Kick your feet back into your hands. Pull your hands on your feet to lift your chest. The thigh bones stay grounded until the ankles come over the knees, and then they can lift up. 3 or 5 breaths. Exhale, release. Turn your head to the other side. Gently sway out your hips. At this level, we're balancing that effort and ease, will and surrender, that being in alignment and putting in the hard work that enables us to fly, to soar, to manifest our dreams. You can roll over onto your backs. Bend your knees, ground your feet in close to your buttocks. Outer edge of the feet parallel with the outer edge of the mat. We do not want to let our feet turn out here. Press the back of your head and the back of your shoulders into the mat. Inhale, lift your pelvis, low back, middle back. Again, you can interlace your hands behind your back to roll your shoulders under, or just turn the palms to face up and roll the shoulders under. Everything on the ground presses firmly into the ground. And the buttocks is soft. So we're drawing the center of the buttocks into the midline and lifting the hips, but we're not squeezing the glutes because that compresses the lower back. Have 3 more deep, long breaths. Lift the heart away from the upper arms. Extend from the heart through the knees. Extend from the heart back through the crown. With your next exhale, release. Good. Sway your knees from side to side. And we'll finish up with a plow pose. It's a shoulder stand variation or a pose on the way to shoulder stand. So if you have a neck injury and you don't feel comfortable putting weight on the neck and shoulders, you can just place your legs up on a chair or the couch, or just come right into Shavasana. If you do want to do plow pose, it begins similarly to the lifting of the legs that we did at the beginning of class. But the head and the back of the head and shoulders are your foundation in plow, just like they were in the previous pose, in bridge pose. So you press your back of your head and your shoulders into the mat, and you do not turn your head to look around or look at me while you're coming into plow. So ground your head and shoulders, grab your mat by your hips, and inhale, roll the legs up and overhead so they touch down behind you. If they don't touch down behind you, keep your knees bent, bend your arms and bring them onto your back. And you can actually extend your legs up. If the feet do touch down behind you, interlace your hands behind your back and roll your shoulders under. Lift your thigh bones up away from your frontal hip bones. Press the back of the head and shoulders down. Make sure chin is lifted off the chest and you can speak or breathe here. Have 5 to 10 deep, long breaths. And if you're in shoulder stand, that's also wonderful. Continue pressing down through the back of the head and shoulders to lift through the thigh bones or heels. And come down whenever you're ready. If the feet do not touch down behind your head, draw your knees in, release your hands and roll the spine out, vertebrae by vertebrae. If you're in plow pose, you can also play with bending your knees, bringing the knees in down by the ears. And when you're ready, release your hands and roll your spine out vertebrae by vertebrae. We'll meet in Shavasana, final relaxation. If there is any final poses your body is suggesting it would like, feel free to take them. If you have a chair or the couch, feel free to put your legs up on the chair. Or to just bend the knees, take the feet wide, and let the legs fall towards each other to support the lower back. Return your awareness to your breath. Allow the breath to be so deep and so long that it touches down into the bottoms of the feet and the tips of the toes. And as you exhale completely, release any residual tension, anxiety, criticalness from your body with your breath through your fingertips. Allow this practice to clear us out Facilitate, release, make space for the next best versions of ourselves to come through. I'm going to lead you through a short little yoga nidra practice. So bring your awareness into your face and head. Allow your awareness to fill all sides of your face and head. Feel the skin soften down around your muscles. Feel your muscles soften around your bones. Feel the heaviness of your bones soften into the earth. And allow your awareness to drip down to and through the neck and throat, into and through the chest and shoulders. Feel your skin soften back around your muscles. Feel your muscles soften into and around your bones. Feel the heaviness of your bones connecting you to the earth. And allow your awareness to extend to and through the arms, into the hands, the fingers, and the fingertips. Feel your skin soften back and around your muscles. Feel your muscles soften back and around your bones. Feel your bones sink into the support of the ground beneath you. And draw your awareness back to and through the chest and shoulders. Allow your awareness to drip down your whole torso, to and through the ribs, the abdomen, the pelvis. Feel the skin soften back and around the muscle. Feel your muscles soften back and around your bones. Feel your bones sink into the support of the ground beneath you. Allow your awareness to move through the pelvis, sacrum, tailbone, into the hip joints, hip bones, hip sockets. Allow your awareness to extend to and through the legs, into the feet, toes, tips of the toes. Feel the skin soften around your muscles. Feel your muscles soften around your bones. Feel your bones sink into the support of the earth beneath you. And allow yourself to be held here for a few more moments. Take this moment to savor any quiet, peace, or calm that has come into your body or mind through your practice today. And begin to intentionally deepen your inhales. Wiggle your fingers and toes. Gently sway your head. With an inhale, reach your arms up and overhead. Give yourself a big stretch from fingertips to tippy toes. Exhale here. Inhale, draw your knees into your chest. And exhale, roll to the right side body. Press down with your palms to lift up. And come to a comfortable seated position. Keep your eyes closed for just another moment and check back in with the quality of your breath. after your practice. Notice where in your body you're still holding tension, where some things may have shifted, where you have new awareness. Observe the speed of the thoughts through the mind in this moment. And we will seal our collective efforts with a single Om. Inhale deeply. Bring your hands to your heart and bow your head in gratitude for the tools of this practice that remind us to balance effort and ease, that hard work in alignment will manifest our dreams. Thank you guys. Good. How did you like Yoga Nidra?